When Connor Williams was growing up, his doctors told him he would grow to be 7'2".
So, I knew it was coming, and I stepped on the kid's foot. I fell. It hurt, but I knew I got to get up and make this pass.
So, folks, remember when a certain college freshman broke the internet with a video of him tripping over on the court? No? Okay then, let's start afresh, shall we? So you know how the typical basketballer is expected to be fit and athletic and look the part too? Well, this is a stereotype that has existed for almost as long as the sport itself has lasted. It's almost like an unspoken rule, if you may, and that's why many of your favorite NBA superstars are right in that category. But then, before you start to wander deep into this beautiful enigma, you'll want to note that the league has also produced its fair share of big ballers, including yours truly, Big Shaq himself. And now, just when we thought the era of big men running the paint is becoming extinct, the NCAA has spun the wheel to present us with another exciting prototype, and his name is Connor Williams.
Section 5 doesn't see many 7-footers, and certainly not many with the skills or opportunities available to Victor's Connor Williams.
The second one where I fell over, you just came out of timeout. You knew we were going to run the play.
Of course I know what you might be wondering. Who's this giant of a kid? What is he doing playing basketball? And most importantly, is he any good? Well, hold on to your hats, folks, because we are about to uncover how a 360-pound college kid is defying the stereotype, and it promises to be breathtaking. So if you're ready, kindly hit that like icon and subscribe to this channel to help us grow. This will make a huge difference to us, and in doing so, we can continue creating more new and exciting content for you guys. Done that? Great. Now let's get down to business. Who is Connor Williams? Connor Williams is the son of Chris and Kristen Williams, and he hails from Victor, New York, where he pretty much learned how to be a sportsman. Popularly known as Big Cozy, the young man is famous for being the largest player in college basketball, weighing over 300 pounds and rising to a resounding height of 7 feet. He's what you typically call a big man, and if he were to break into the NBA today, Connor would automatically slot in as the second largest player to ever feature in the league, only behind the 375 pounds Oliver Miller. Interesting, right? Well, it sure is, and in case you're wondering, that officially makes him heavier than Shaquille O'Neal in his prime.
When Connor Williams was growing up, his doctors told him he would grow to be 7'2".
So, I knew it was coming, and I stepped on the kid's foot. I fell. It hurt, but I knew I got to get up and make this pass.
Now, how's that for a big lad? But then, contrary to what you typically imagine, his size has never been a barrier for him, as Connor has always been into sports, even from a young age, and actively pursued his dream of being a sportsman. Back in his days at Victor High, the big lad even ventured into football along with his already developing basketball talent. And rumors have it that he was very good at it too. So good that he even received offers from various colleges to represent their football teams. However, for Connor, it has always been basketball. And well, it also helped that he was pretty good at it too. So in the end, he opted to focus on his basketball alone. And tell you what, he's made excellent progress with it too. He's already one of the most famous college basketballers, boasting endorsement deals and sponsorships from some top brands in the game. So how did this young man manage to bag such incredible fame and popularity while still playing college basketball? Well, for Connor, it could well go down as the most extraordinary stroke of luck and talent at the same time. You see, when Connor first hit the headlines, it was back in December of 2021, after a video of the 350-pound kid tripping on the court had surfaced.
Connor is head and shoulders more skilled than any 7-footer I've ever been around her.
And honestly, I thought it was funny because, everyone was going raving over how great of a pass.
But then, it wasn't just his unfortunate trip that drew attention. Of course, there's his unusual size too, but it wasn't just that either. It was something even more breathtaking. It was the fact that even after he tripped, he still managed to pick out an almost impossible pass to set up his teammate for a dunk. It was absolutely incredible. And as expected, the clip broke the internet. Top sports televisions like ESPN was showing it, talk shows couldn't stop talking about him, and you could literally sense the wow on the face of anybody seeing the clip for the first time. From his size to the trip to the unbelievable pass, that clip was 5 seconds of jaw-droppers galore, and as expected, the reactions aftermath were completely insane. He became an instant hit and his social media following was off the roof in a blink. He had just tripped to fame, and just like that, the legend of Big Cozy was born. Everyone wanted to see the famous 360-pound college basketballer. Oh, and of course, the one thing everyone wanted to know deep down was if the lad could really play as well as the clip suggested. So how good is Big Cozy really? First of all, Connor Williams currently plays as a forward for the St. John Fisher University basketball team. He's been a mainstay in the team and a regular starter, which just goes to tell you there's more to Big Cozy than his unique height and size. But of course, these are some of his defining qualities, as even on the court, he's most effective in and around the paint. A dominant force that can charge his way to the basket without much fuss. Just picture a younger Shaquille bullying his way through college basketball.
Have such a good basketball IQ where I know where to go with the ball if I'm double teamed, and I know. I mean, that's not even close to one of my better passes I've had. I didn't think it was that impressive, but I just knew I had to get up.
Of course, it would be a bit of a stretch to put Big Cozy on the same level as Big Shaq. But then, if you actually do watch both of them play, you'll definitely see just enough similarities in the way they play. Like Shaquille, Big Cozy is also a decent finisher and often uses his height to good effect, scoring clever lay-ins. But as stated earlier, there's more to this big lad than just what you'd expect from a typical big man. He doesn't just lurk around the paint, he also fancies his chances from deep. He's a decent playmaker on his day, and he can often pick apart opponents with his brilliant passing. Remember that pass that changed his life forever? Well, that's the kind of plays he's come to relish more from time to time. Impressed already? Well, wait till you hear he's also an excellent three-point shooter. Yeah, and that's another aspect of his game that tends to drip jaws. I mean, it's not every day you get to see a 7-foot, 360-pound player stay outside the arc to knock down resounding threes, is it? Well, that's just Big Cozy for you. And even though the stats do not necessarily tell the tale of an extraordinary game changer, there's just no denying his immense contributions to this team. In fact, the reason why he only boasts an okay 3 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists per game so far could well be because he often sacrifices personal glory for the good of the team. But for all his attributes, he's still got some obvious lapses in his game. The first is what you've been thinking, and it's the fact that he's not fast. And that's just a mild way to put it. See, even though he isn't as slow as you'll typically expect from someone of his size and stature, it still takes him almost twice as much time to run the length of the court as it does for an average college basketballer. He's also not the defensively solid player you'll see.
What we want to do, how we want to play. So he's like having a coach out on the court.
Hopefully, then we could get timeout or something and get me out because I couldn't run.
Even though he sometimes comes up with insane blocks. And then there's the obvious off-field stares and sometimes unwanted attention that he's got to deal with too. But kudos to the young man because he's handled it quite excellently so far. He's managed to take both the negative and positive attention and put them to brilliant use. His Big Cozy brand is currently on a whole different level. It's not showing any signs of slowing down, and neither is he. So the next time you hear Big Cozy and wonder why he's an absolute rave, there's your answer right there. The more pressing question, however, is whether we get to see him anytime soon in the hallowed NBA. And if so, how would he cope with the super competitive nature of the big league? Well, for Connor, that is definitely one dream that's never going into the bottom drawer. He has also expressed interest in competing with the big boys soon enough. And you bet the entire basketball world would already have their fingers crossed. He sure does know his onion, but it's anyone's guess whether he'd actually compete in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. The NBA is certainly no joke, as we've come to discover, and with Big Cozy officially becoming eligible for the drafts next year, one thing you can put your money on is the fact that he'd be grabbing the headlines if he eventually decides to declare for the 2025 NBA drafts. What are your thoughts on the big man though? Do you see him dominating his way to the NBA? If so, please let us know your opinions about franchises that could benefit from his unique set of skills. Oh, and don't smash that subscribe icon for more exciting videos about your favorite NBA youngsters.